Can we start?
Nào mọi người pay attention.
So excuse me for this face because it's just full of makeup. Okay. So now let me ask you a question. Have you finished eating the dish that you are eating? You are. Okay. So do you have a thing for the thing that you have eaten? You have eaten. You like it? Okay. So I love them to pieces because I know that the process to make it is really complicated, really complex, and I also know the chef that tops every chef in other planets. So let's look at the clip and let's see. This is gonna be the answer. So let's take a closer look at this one, and you can see.
No record of fingerprints. He was never arrested for any kind of a job that required any kind of security clearance or background check.
Hopefully he's been to a dentist. Why am I looking at this man?
Stitch patterns on John Doe 21, match Roland Umber.
John Doe 21 is Roland Umber's replacement in the mural. What happened to his leg?
Maybe the killer had cut off his leg just so he'd fit.
Stroke.
What did Dr. Lecter say? The eye looks beyond this world into the next. It sees a reflection of man himself. There was never supposed to be a reflection. The killer's having an existential crisis after all. The question is, how did he find his fate?
Nạn nhân đầu tiên.
Okay, guys. Can you guess what show it is?
Hannibal.
Hannibal. Who gets it first? Hannibal. 8.5 IMDb. Top 10 IMDb.
Crawford, I head the behavioral science unit. 8 girls abducted from 8 different Minnesota campuses, all in the last 8 months. Can I borrow your imagination? Well, granted, because confusion and fear comes with this imagination. You make jumps you can't negotiations and all the dreams. Profile working. Which profile is he working on? What are you looking for? Anything peculiar? Agent Crawford told me how to knife for the monsters. He's gonna get caught.
He's the model that we got.
This cannibal hasn't getting to know him. I think I can help Goodwill see his face. Put her back where he found her.
He wanted to undo as much as he could, given he'd already killed the system in politics.
He was bitten terribly rude Muslims. What's to be done about that? Is it hard imagining the thrill somebody else feels killing, now that you've done it yourself? Killing must feel good to God too. Next time I bring your wife, I'd love to have you both for dinner. Thank you.
The Cannibal series is the and who get this first? Who get this correct first? No one? Okay, so you can share with each other. Okay, so today, from video clip will not scare you to death. Okay, so now today we did bring a chef that's gonna tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth about the show and about the process to make the dish. So the chef make the very wonderful dishes that really heat up the park, right? So now let's give it up to our chef, Mr. Hannibal Baum.
Hay mình bật điện.
Hi there. My name is Dr. Hannibal Lecter. So, one question for you. How many of you are a big fan of horror movie? Please raise your hand, please. So, not too much, right? So, most of you are afraid of watching a horror movie, right? So, just like most of you, I'm very scared of watching horror movies. So I just don't have a thing for it. Actually, I don't have a stomach for it. So I decided to give it a try to prepare for our presentation today. So you know what? After watching the first episode of the series, I just it just started to rose on me. I started to like it, and right off the bat, and I was dying to know what happens next. All right, and I ended up watching 10 episodes in a row in only one day. Can you imagine that? All right, so my answer. So the bottom line is, should you watch it? My answer to the questions would be definitely yes. It's due to 3 reasons. The first one, it has an intriguing philosophical factor. The second reason, it is stunningly horrifying. It is really, really horrifying, but it is represented in a very stunning way. All right. So, and the last reason, that is the most important reason, is that it brings you huge learning values. Right, so I want to kick off by telling about the first reason. All right, so first of all, I want you to help me to pick out 2 main characters of the shows. Any clue? One clue is that these are the 2 characters that appear the most frequently on the trailer before, that you have watched before. So, which one? 3, 3 and 6? Alright, bravo, very good. So these are the 2 main characters. One good that saves you from darkness, and one bad that brings you to darkness. So, could you can you figure out which one is good? The 6 is good. All right, very good. All right, so let's talk about the good one first. So he is Will Graham, played by Hop Dempsey. All right, so he's a very talented FBI criminal profiler. He has a very special ability to empathize with the killers, only using his imagination. All right, and he can place himself in the place of the murder, and he can watch the time reversed to recreate the crime scenes, to understand the killer's motives and the method. All right, and whenever he finished, find out everything, he just end up with the final sentence. That's my design. All right. But because of that, because of the high capacity for empathy when trying to get into the killer's mind, he also let the killers get into his own. So he has to suffer from mental disorder. He always thinks himself as a killer, even though he's not, right? So because of that, he needs help. He needs someone to monitor him. He needs someone to make sure that he stays more or less in safe. Right. So Dr. Hannibal Lecter, played by Matt Nicholson, was asked to supervise Will. And Dr. Hannibal Lecter is a very brilliant psychiatrist, and at the same time he's very culinary pro, and he's very passionate about cooking. He loves cooking and he can cook very well. All right. And what's surprising is that Dr. Hannibal Lecter is secretly a cannibalistic serial killer, as you might find out later. All right. So he kills many people and cooks the meat and serves his friends, guests. All right. So that's saying that the series is not about is the main focus of the series is not about solving crime. It's not about going to find the killer, but it's more about like representing the very complex interaction inside that's happening inside the two main characters' state of mind. One is represent the very human being, right? That feel guilty if they do something wrong. But on the other hand, he's just like a real cannibal, right? So he has ability to act. I say what is more surprising is not like eating the human flesh, right? Although it's a bit pretty creepy, right? But I say what's more horrifying is that he has the ability to act completely normal, just like nothing happened. All right, so let's talk about the second reason. All right, so as far as you know that cannibal is cannibal, right? But he doesn't eat the way a cannibal eats. So he's a culinary pro, so he can turn something that is very disgusting, say the human flesh, into something very eye-catching and delicious. So actually, whenever I see the food sequence, I wish it was at the table, and it always makes my mouth watering and it makes my stomach churning. All right. So what happened? As you can imagine, if Dr. Hannibal Lecter were a bad chef, then all the foods he served could look like this. All right. All right. You wanna try it? All right. So, but luckily for us, like this, all right, and this or this. But luckily for us, what he serves is like this. Looks quite eye-catching, right? All right. Very yummy. Okay. So if you're an avid foodie and you're a big fan of whatever version of MasterChef, say MasterChef Vietnam or MasterChef USA, but you're looking for something totally different, then Hannibal is the show for you. All right. So let's talk about. Let's back up a little bit. It is representing stunningly in not only in the way the food is represented, but also the victims' bodies itself. As you can see from the screen, it looks kind of like mysterious, right? It's a pile of all the dead bodies. You know, I have no clue on why the killer rearranged all the bodies like this and how he did this. Maybe it needs a lot of help, but it's just mysterious and makes the plot more intriguing to you, right? And look at this one as well. Quite stunning, right? Beautiful. And about this, so do you have any clue on why they are represented like angels? That's it. So the reason behind it is that the killer himself feels guilty and he has to suffer from mental disorder after killing these two people. So he has nightmare during when he falls asleep. So what he does is that he turns them into angels like this, and in the hopes that they will save him from evils. Quite funny, right? And how about this one? So it looks like quite beautiful circle, right? So I guess he has some problem. He has very passion for mathematics. He must be very good at math when he was in high school, during the time he go to school, right? Okay, so it's quite mysterious. And how about this one? Oh. And this one, it doesn't remind you of anything. It's simple, but just show it, right? It just looks like the Statue of Liberty, right? So quite, just like a masterpiece. So let's talk about the last reasons why you should watch it. As I mentioned before, it brings you huge learning values by 2 points. The first point is that it is quite rich in vocabulary, specialized vocabularies in the two specific terms, criminology and psychology. So let's take a look at the short clip to see.
Mr. Grant, Special Agent Jack Crawford, I head the Behavioral Science Unit.
Good man.
Yes, we had a disagreement when we opened up the museum.
I disagree with what you named it.
The Evil Minds Research Museum.
It's a little hammy, Jack.
See, you've hitched your horse to a teaching post, and I also understand it's difficult for you to be social.
I'm just talking at them. I'm not listening to them. It's not social.
See? Yeah. Where do you fall on the spectrum?
My horse is hitched to a post that is closer to Asperger's and autistics. Narcissists and sociopaths.
But you can empathize with narcissists and
I
sociopaths.
can empathize with anybody. It's less to do with a personality disorder than an active imagination.
Can I borrow your imagination? 8 girls abducted from 8 different Minnesota campuses, all in the last 8 months. Well, there are 7.
When did you tag the 8th?
About 3 minutes before I walked into your lecture hall.
We're calling them abductions because you haven't had any bodies.
No bodies, no parts of bodies, nothing that comes out of bodies, nothing.
Those girls weren't taken from where you think they were taken.
Then where were they taken from?
I don't know. Someplace else.
All of them abducted on Friday, so that...
All right, so there are about like 10 terms that is in very short bit, just 2 or 3 minutes. And the second point is that you can come across many idioms that you may have seen in upper class. Okay, let's see.
You will die watching me take what is this away from you. This is my design. Next.
The reason you currently used to work on the side is because you didn't have the stomach for pulling the trigger. You just pulled the trigger 10 times. Next.
Everyone, please stop what you are doing. Put your hands in the air.
Next. You were there with him, and you let those words come out of his mouth.
I trust him to speak for himself.
Next.
Then he got away?
We'll catch you one. Next.
You may have to strap me to the braking wheel to lose your tongue.
You overestimate my affection for genuine, Dr. Phil.
Next. As we are ever going to get to catching this man.
And dismantling who I was and moving it brick by brick.
Next.
He's deciding what to do.
Someone's put a price on your head.
Next.
This particular illustration is bows out. I've seen others bows in. By all accounts, Francesco was led astray by
All right. So, for what it's worth, a recent study from a group of scientists from the University of Westminster in England have found out that by watching horror movie can actually help you to lose weight. So how many of you want to lose weight? Please raise your hand. All right, quite a lot, right? Okay, so they estimated that every 90 minutes of watching horror movie can burn up to like 200 calories, and which is the same amount burned by 30 minutes of walk and 30 minutes of having sex. So let's talk about walking. Not too many people nowadays, they're too lazy and they don't want to get outside and exercise, especially this kind of weather, quite freezing weather. So it's not a favorable choice for them, right? How about having sex? You know, sex is not free for everyone. It's really hard to get, and it takes you time, money, and sometimes, you know, it's not safe if you do it the wrong way, right? So it's not a smart choice at all. So the best choice is watching horror movies, all right? So listen up, if you want to learn English and lose weight the smart way, then give Hannibal a choice, all right? So I want to finish our presentation with a short script of our group introductions. you both so much.
Em điền phiếu đánh giá và sau đó thì